Good.
Cool. Okay. Do you want to start us, Megan, and then I can?
Yeah.
Whatever.
I was thinking if you wanted to go first, just because it might be a little more simpler stuff, like just.
So, okay, I will start. For anyone that does not know me, I am Michelle, and I'm actually Megan's coach. We now have been working together for how long have you been a coach?
Well, almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years, like in March.
Yeah. So for anyone that wasn't maybe on the call last week, I'll just quickly kind of go through this a little bit. I started coaching about 2.5 years ago. I was a long time Beachbody lover. Loved their workouts, but didn't necessarily love anything else. I didn't love their nutrition plans because I never did them. I just kind of threw them to the back of the closet. And Shakeology, I actually got a bag once and didn't like it at all. Like I maybe had 3 or 4 drinks, didn't like it, tucked it to the back of my cupboard, not to really pull it out again for like probably a year later. And that's when I kind of connected with my coach, Amy, and we started chatting about Shakeology again. And she started telling me maybe I was mixing it wrong, which I absolutely was. I was just like shaking it up with water, like gross. It was probably warm, like it was disgusting. Now I know, Sarah, I know that's how you mix yours with orange juice, but we're all different, right? So anyways, my coach kind of taught me a different way of mixing it. I swear it took me about 10 tries to get it right. And then once I got it right, I just absolutely loved it. So that kind of started my journey with Shakeology. So I was a long time Beachbody user, but I didn't necessarily use all of their products right from the get-go. So my journey with Shakeology is not necessarily a weight loss journey. I would never, ever, ever say that Shakeology is the reason I lost any of my weight, because quite honestly, I lost most of it long before I was ever using Shakeology on a consistent basis. So for me, the differences that I noticed when I started using Shakeology consistently was my energy would be the first thing that I noticed. Once I started using it every single day, I definitely noticed that I could put more into my workouts. I could, be up longer, working away. Like I just felt a shift in my energy. Cravings was the next thing. And it wasn't something like one day I just woke up and I didn't have cravings. It was kind of one day I realized I wasn't running to the pantry. I wasn't 9 o'clock at night, like digging into or really having to talk myself out of snacking. I realized that, there's some correlation here. When I don't have Shakeology for a couple days, cravings come back. When I have it consistently, they really just aren't there. Like, I used to consume an entire bag of licorice on a Saturday. Like, that big bag of nibs. Plus I would have salty stuff too. Like I am a binger. I can go 6 days without having anything bad touch my mouth and not even really think about bad food. Like I can be very, 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 very consistent. But then on Saturday nights, my whole thing was I would get home from work at about 4 o'clock and I would just binge until I went to bed. And it was disgusting. And I realized after taking Shakeology every single day that I didn't even want to do that anymore. Like I didn't even realize it was happening, but I wasn't doing that. And I wasn't even feeling like I wanted to do it. The next thing I noticed was my skin. I have PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. And one of the side effects that I've just dealt with my whole life is acne. I usually, for years, even in my late 30s, I just had acne. I just looked like a teenager sometimes. Like if stress would come into my life, I would just flare up. I remember when I went through my divorce, someone asked my mom, how's Michelle doing? And she's like, oh, she's fine. You know, with the divorce is fine, but this acne problem that she has, this is going to take her over the edge. Because I looked like a 14-year-old. It was horrible. And it's just kind of one of those things that I've dealt with. And now, I mean, even my dad just passed away about 5 weeks ago. So, I mean, there's been a lot of stress, and I've had a little tiny bit here and there, but nothing like I had. So there's so many things about it that is way beyond weight loss for me. I do think it helps, you know, it fills me up. I have it usually mid-afternoon, because that is the time of day that I'm really looking for something to eat. Not even necessarily something bad to eat, but I'm just looking for something always. So I always have it then. It fills me up. I can definitely gain weight on having Shakeology. Like, I don't think it doesn't necessarily make me lose weight, but it certainly keeps me on track. So I don't like when people think of it that it's going to be this magic pill, because it's not. It's more about really fueling your body with the right nutrients. So all of a sudden, if you're feeding your body all the proper nutrients, you're not going to have cravings. So the reason you have cravings is because you're missing some sort of nutrient in your body. And that's where I found the cravings. Clearly, I wasn't filling my body with the right stuff. And that often happens when we are trying to cut calories. There's just no way there's enough calories in your day to get all those nutrients in. It's impossible. So Shakeology is this amazing thing that has all of those nutrients in their whole food form, and it will help us fight off all those cravings that we have when we're kind of eating really, really super healthy and not wanting to get off track. And it, at the end of the day, it gives you something quite, for me, it tastes good. I mean, for me, it definitely tastes like a chocolate shake. Like, it really does. So it fills that kind of void for me, that sweet void. And that's kind of like that Shakeology in a very simplistic way. Megan is a registered nurse, so she dives in a lot deeper into Shakeology, which is awesome. She's my go-to person. I have really no interest in diving that deep into Shakeology, but she does. So she's an awesome resource to have, because she can kind of tell us a little bit about some of the different superfoods in there and the vitamins in there that we all need. So I will pass it off to her, unless you want me to talk about anything else, Megan. Is that good?
Yeah, no, I think that was good.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so I'm just going to kind of talk about more of like the health benefits of it. Like, we all love it. We all know it helps with our cravings, but I kind of want to talk about why it's something that you want to continue on with beyond this. Like, you know, it's something that I plan on drinking indefinitely. I'm not just drinking it for the first 30 days of my program and then maybe get it every other month. Like, it's something that I want to continue having every day, because it is something I believe in 100%. So food-related disease is one of the #1 causes of preventable death in North America. So food-related diseases. I mean, so many things that we suffer from are because of the foods we eat. Proper nutrition is 80% of the equation when wanting to lose weight and live a healthy lifestyle. I think we all kind of know that now, just from being in challenge groups. Shakeology has all the nutrients that our body needs in a day in just one serving of Shakeology. So we would never be able to eat all the things that we need to have in a day. Michelle, do you mind muting everybody? Just the background noise, even just for the recording. Perfect. Yeah, so even if we tried to get all of our nutrients in just from food alone, we never would be able to. Like, it would be impossible. I think you would have to eat, I think they said a 24,000 calorie a day diet just to get all these superfoods and the nutrition into our body that we actually need. So how Shakeology came about, years ago when Carl Deichler, who is the CEO of Beachbody, and he's the one who has created, all these workout programs and the company Beachbody, his wife actually was the one who said to him, like, that's great, you've got all these these workout programs, but we all know that nutrition is 80% of it. So what are we doing to help these people stay on track? So it was actually her idea to kind of look into something. And he said, that's awesome. Why don't you go out and find a shake that you believe in, and we will endorse that and we will promote it. So off she went, and her name's Isabel Deichler. So she went out and looked at every product on the market, like everything from like grocery store protein shakes to like GNC, high-end stuff. And the thing that she found was that nothing really met her expectations. She studied a lot of the ingredients in all these different shakes, and what she found was most of them had, three things in them that you really want to make sure you are not consuming. Like if you are going to stop drinking Shakeology and go to something perhaps more affordable, or you already are drinking something else, what you want to look for is that it doesn't have soy in it. So that's the number one thing. Make sure it does not have soy. This is a very, very cheap thing to manufacture. So a lot of shake companies use this in their shakes, because then they can sell the shake for a lot more money, and they are making a huge profit on these shakes because soy is so cheap. Not to mention soy is just so bad, which I won't go into, but you definitely want to stay away from soy. The second thing that she found was in pretty much all the shakes she came across was artificial flavors, because these companies want their shake to taste really, really good. The second you try it, they want you to fall in love with the flavor of it. So they come up with like crazy different flavors, like all types of ice cream flavors for your shake. And it's all artificially flavored. And I mean, that's just bad in itself, but also that can wreak havoc on your metabolism. It can actually prevent you from losing weight. So you do not want to have any type of artificial flavors. Sometimes if something tastes like it's too good to be true, the second it hits your lips, there might be artificial flavors in there. If you remember back to the first time you had Shakeology, some people love it right away. Most people don't love it right away. And that's because our bodies are not used to those natural flavors. It takes a while for our taste buds to change. And that's why, it might take you 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 days to really fall in love with Shakeology. But these other shakes that are artificially sweetened, they taste like candy or a milkshake right from the second you have it. And the third thing that she found was artificial sweeteners. So artificial sweeteners, they can make you gain weight, they increase your blood sugar, and they actually increase your cravings for carbs. So she found that all these shakes had these three things that she did not want to endorse, she did not want to put in her body. So basically Shakeology is as pure can be, which, maybe from talking to Michelle and I already, but there is no artificial colors, there's no artificial sweeteners, there's no artificial flavors. Basically what the creators of Shakeology have done is they have gone out into the world, all over the world, and found superfoods and taken them in their pure form and dried them into powder, and that is what Shakeology is. So it is literally as natural. It's still considered a whole food because it's just superfoods dried, turned into a powder form. So what Isabel Deichler then did is she sat down and made out a list of all the things that she wanted in a shake, and she wrote out 70 different ingredients that she wanted in her, dream shake, basically. And then Darren Olean, who is the creator of Shakeology, he's the one who actually made Shakeology, he went out and found all these 70 ingredients around the world, and he imported them to the United States. And Shakeology isn't created in a factory in China, that's where most protein shakes are made. They have no standards even for, you don't want something coming from a factory in China. So Shakeology is made in a lab in the United States. and every bag is actually tested for purity. So they they've imported all of these ingredients and turned that into Shakeology. So what is Shakeology exactly? I like to refer to it as disease prevention. The top 4 deadly diseases are on the rise. So the first one is obesity. The second one is diabetes. The third one is high blood pressure. And the fourth one is heart disease. So all of those things are on the rise. And these are things that are killing us. It's killing our parents. It's going to kill our children. Like, this is the things they are getting us. It's not looking good. And we now are more educated than we've ever been. We know what to do and what not to do. And we know these things, but we're going in the wrong direction for the most part. So the superfoods, I mean, all 70 of them do amazing, amazing things. But basically what they do, I'm going to break it down into 3 things. So the first one is Shakeology boosts your immune system. So there are so many toxins and diseases, all sorts of things out there. And the superfoods in Shakeology help your body to naturally fight these things. Our immune system is significantly affected by stress. And when I say stress, I don't mean like work stress or kids or your husband. Like, I'm talking about, stress from the environment and our lifestyle and our foods. So we need the best defense mechanism possible. And that's where all these superfoods come in handy. How do you know if you are feeling the effects of stress? Like, what are those symptoms? Being really tired all the time for no reason, being irritable, being lethargic, not really coping with, just day-to-day tasks, loss of concentration, mental clarity. Those are all signs that you aren't treating your body right. Your immune system is down and you aren't able to fight off any of these diseases that are going to come at you, or even just illness. I've been drinking Shakeology for over 2 years now, and knock on wood, I have not been sick. Like, I have not been sick at all since I started. I've had morning sickness. I've had, mastitis. I've been very sick in other ways, but I have not come down with an illness in the last 2.5 years. And I have 4 kids, 3 of them in school, and they're all germy and, and and I really do think it's because I've built my immune system up because of Shakeology. I've had it every single day for over 2 years. And even if you do get sick, what ends up happening is you don't get as sick because your body just is naturally fighting off the germs and the disease itself. I do sometimes will feel like I have a little bit of sickness coming on, but it never gets me down. It never kind of takes over my body like it used to. So the second thing that the superfoods do, they reduce inflammation. And this is probably the most important thing. And if you can kind of take away any little tidbit of information, it would be this, because inflammation is the number 1 cause of almost every chronic disease. Arthritis, colitis, IBS, Alzheimer's, some types of cancers, diabetes, heart disease, eczema, migraines, fibromyalgia. I'm sure we all know someone close to us that suffers from those things, or we ourselves suffer from those things, or we're going to. Superfoods act naturally to reduce this inflammation. And if you can reduce internal inflammation, a lot of these diseases will start to repair themselves if you already have them. If you are already suffering from high blood pressure, taking Shakeology every day can actually help to lower your blood pressure. If you don't have any of these things, it can possibly prevent them from happening in the first place. So what you might see is, if you do have high blood pressure, your blood pressure is going to become lower. If you're a diabetic, your blood sugar will just trend lower, those numbers. Your cholesterol will be lowered. Your skin will be clearer, like Michelle said. You'll have less chronic pain. I have so many challengers that have suffered from fibromyalgia and other chronic pain. And from starting Shakeology, even 2 weeks in, their pain is so much, less significant. It's crazy. And it's because those superfoods have decreased the inflammation in your body. If you took a look at a heart that is suffering from heart disease, or someone who's died of a heart attack, their heart is like massive. And it's because it's inflamed, because that's just what our bodies do in response to something bad going on. It starts to inflame around the disease. And so what Shakeology does, it decreases that inflammation. So you can imagine if someone's going to suffer from a heart attack, but they've been drinking Shakeology, that inflammation is decreased. So not to say they're not going to have a heart attack, but their chances are less likely because of these superfoods they're having every single day. And the third thing, Shakeology acts like a gentle scrub brush on your insides. So 80% of us women struggle from some sort of digestive issue. So there are prebiotics and probiotic digestive enzymes in Shakeology that help our bodies to absorb all the nutrients that we are getting from our foods, because most of us are not absorbing anything that we're eating. We are eating our food and then we are just passing it through. And the reason why we're not absorbing anything is just because we don't have those prebiotic and those probiotic enzymes that are cleansing our digestive tract. And once we start getting those enzymes into our body, then when food is passing through, we actually start to absorb those nutrients. And when you are absorbing those nutrients, assuming that it's good food you're putting into your body, if you start to absorb those nutrients, that's when you start to feel, more energetic, more lighter, more like the mental clarity, more awake, all those symptoms. And it's because you're actually absorbing the food that you are having, plus all the superfoods from Shakeology. So even, if you change your diet, you still will start to feel better, but you're not going to experience the amazing feeling of the clean eating lifestyle if you don't have Shakeology on board, because there's nothing cleansing that track, and there's not, you need to be able to absorb those nutrients, and that's what all those prebiotic and probiotic enzymes do. Skipping through my notes here. So when I say that Shakeology, I refer to it as disease prevention. That is why I have it every single day. Like I'm 33. I don't suffer from any diseases. I don't have any chronic illnesses, but I know that is what comes as we age. I'm a nurse, so I see it every single day, people who haven't taken care of themselves and who are now paying the price. And it could have been prevented. And that's the most frustrating thing about being a nurse, is seeing these people that, have a stroke and they're young, they're in their 30s and they've had a devastating stroke because they didn't take care of themselves, or someone that's had a heart attack for the exact same reasons. Of course, there's going to be things that we can never prevent, but there are so many things that we can prevent. And I never want to look back on my life and think, oh, if I had just taken better care of myself, I wouldn't have ended up this way. So that is why I take Shakeology every single day. If I can avoid medications down the road, like blood pressure medications, diabetic medications, medications for my cholesterol, if I can avoid that, drinking Shakeology every day for $5 a day is 100% worth it to me, to avoid ever having to take medications. That is why I was so happy when my mom finally jumped on board with Shakeology. I never pushed it on her, but finally one day she said, okay, I'm ready to give it a try. And she's been drinking it for, probably 6 months or so now. And that makes me sleep better at night, knowing that she's drinking it. She's in her 60s. My husband now drinks it every single day, and he has it's coming up to almost a year now. And he's down about 20 pounds without really doing anything else, just swapping out his Fruit Loops every morning, having a shake instead. And he feels great. He looks great. And, everyone close to me, I just want them drinking this. I don't care if they even buy it from me. It's just something that I honestly 100% believe in. And as we get older and we're women, we want to be taking care of ourselves. And if this is what we need, then I'm willing to have it every single day, because unless we start taking medications and supplements, we will never get what we need to get that we can from Shakeology. So that's my little Shakeology spiel.
Doesn't everybody feel so much smarter now? Like I feel so smart right now. The problem is I will not retain any of that. So luckily I have a beeline to Megan all the time. But no, all of that is so true what you said. No, I mean, I give you the simple version of I bought into it because I thought it was going to be my weight loss ticket. I really did. I won't lie about that. I heard about Shakeology that first time and I thought that's going to be the answer. I'm going to drink this stuff and I'm going to be skinny for once. That is not what it is. I mean, Terry, my husband, has a similar story to Will. So when I signed on as a coach, I wanted him to drink it as well. So all he swapped out was his lunches. I think that's what he did when he first started. He would take it and have it at work for lunch. And we kind of did this little experiment with him. And within, I think it was about 5 weeks, he was down 15 pounds. He did not exercise. He ate the foods that I was eating when he was at home with me, but there was also, snacks at work and Tim Hortons and whatever. So he really didn't change a whole bunch of stuff except his, driving to Subway and getting his lunch or going to the corner diner and getting his lunch. So he swapped that out for Shakeology and was down 15 pounds. And he's maintained that for 2.5 years with just keeping up with Shakeology every single day. And sometimes I tease him because he's more of a Shakeology lover than I am. Like he will not miss it. He makes sure he has it. He tries to get everyone on board with it because he truly, truly believes in it. We give it to Delaney. I won't lie. She doesn't always want it. Some days she wants it. She wants a chocolate shake or strawberry because it's pink. And then some days she just turns her nose at it. So who knows with kids why, but I feel really good about giving it to her. It is so hard to get, we know how hard it is to get our kids to eat vegetables. Doesn't Shakeology say it's 5 or 6 servings of fruits and vegetables in one scoop? I mean, I know my kid is not going to get that any other way. So she also has a little bit of problem with, digestion and all that kind of stuff. And I know when she will have Shakeology even a couple times a week, that is so much better. So, I mean, obviously we love the product. We wouldn't be doing what we are doing if we didn't, but I can say to you truthfully that it's changed so many things for us. My parents, my dad, obviously he passed away. I shared that with you, but there were often times when he was super, super sick that's all he could get down. And I felt so good about that because he was at least getting some nutrients and vitamins into his body so he could, have a fighting chance, have a possibility of, if he was struck down with another sort of downfall with cancer, he had a little bit of backup because he had been getting nutrients and superfoods into him for 4 or 5 years, and he really did. Like he fought that disease for a long time. So, and my mom drinks it. My mom has always been into healthy stuff. Like she's the girl that buys all the superfoods separately and would put them into the shake. Like, oh my God, she'd have all these jars of all this stuff. So now she just has Shakeology, loves it, totally thinks it makes a difference. So like Megan, it's something that we just really passionately believe in and want all our loved ones to be drinking it. So hopefully this kind of gives you a little bit more information about the product, that it's not just this thing that we think you should drink because it's going to help you get skinny, because that's really not what it is. It's more about the lifestyle. It's more about your whole health. It's not just about, a weight loss protein shake, because that's just not what it is. And sometimes that's so hard for us to get across in the challenge groups or in our posts on social media. We obviously we're not like a salesy kind of group of people. We don't want to push things on people, but we also want you to have the right information so you can make the right choices for you and your family. So we hope that this has helped you. And thank you, Megan, for giving us all that info. I could never do that. Anyways, thanks guys does anyone have any questions? I guess we should say that first. If anyone has any questions, there's even a little chat box down here. If you don't want to unmute yourself and talk, you could write if you want to. We're here to answer anything about whatever, even if you want to talk about something on a totally separate issue. It doesn't have to have anything to do with Shakeology. Just about the challenge group or your program or whatever. I mean, I think we chat with everybody a lot, so they probably have given us all their questions.
Okay. I actually was going to mention too, I always forget the whole like protein shake thing, because I think it's important to point out, because what I find really interesting is how many people are drinking a protein shake. Like, I talk to women every day and they are like, oh, I have a protein shake every day. And when you ask them, like, you know, why are you drinking a protein shake? They are just drinking it because that's what they think they are supposed to do, because that's healthy. So they're just drinking a protein shake, you know, in the afternoon or for breakfast. But what a protein shake is, the reason why you have a protein shake is it's to be taken after you do a really intense workout. So a workout where you are, you know, lifting really heavy weights, for instance. You want to have a protein shake after that workout, because the protein in that shake will repair the muscles and the damage that you've done to your muscles while weight training, because that's just inevitable. So the protein starts to repair your muscles so you're not as sore and you're able to continue on with your workout the next day. That's what a protein shake is for. So there's people every day all over this world drinking these protein shakes from Costco, but they're not working out. They're not doing anything. They are just simply drinking a protein shake that is probably loaded with unnecessary calories and high amounts of protein that their body does not need, because most people aren't protein deficient, you know, especially if someone's really not actively working out and lifting really, really heavy. So I just always think it's really interesting how many people are just they just really don't understand what the protein shake is for. Like, Michelle and I also drink a protein shake from Beachbody after we are doing a heavy lifting program. Plus we have our Shakeology. So Shakeology is not a protein shake. It's not a protein shake. There's protein in it, yes, but it's not a protein shake. So I just always like to point that out, because it's really, really interesting. And I used to think the exact same way, like, oh, you should drink a protein shake. That's just what people do these days. These healthy people drink protein shakes, right? So
it's super trendy. I mean, I was exactly the same way. I was lifting. I had got into a real schedule of lifting really heavy weights. So I was doing a protein shake, and sometimes I was doing 2 a day, because I knew I had to do it after I lifted heavy weights, but I thought I needed it for breakfast too. And then I was filling it with like berries and all this other stuff to try and make it taste good. Or, you know, I just thought that's what you were supposed to do. I mean, I was not protein deficient. I was eating chicken and eggs, and like was having so many things. I was actually like, I wasn't giving myself enough carbohydrates and stuff like that. And that's what Shakeology does. It gives you a balanced meal. It's not about giving you more protein. Like the 21-day fix workouts, you don't need a protein shake after that. You're good. Like, that's not hard enough. You know, you have to be working really, really hard to need a protein shake. You need to break down your muscles so much that the protein will go back into those muscles and rebuild them and repair them, like Megan said. So most of us aren't doing a program that requires a protein shake after. You really need to be working pretty hard to have one of those. So that's not what Shakeology is. I'm glad you brought that up, because that is and I was misled as well. Like, it's just trendy. Everyone thinks they should be drinking like peanut butter parfait protein powder. Like, we don't really need that at all. So that was a good point, Megan, because that's something that's very common. that people ask all the time. So anyways, we hope that was helpful. We hope you got a little bit of information out of this call, and I will post the recording. So if you want to listen to it again, and the other people in our challenge group can listen to it too, and I'll pass it on to Megan as well for her group. So if you guys have any questions about anything, always know that you can reach out to either of us anytime. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.